It began with a bark. Not an ordinary bark, but the sharp, urgent sound of a trained canine breaking protocol, alerting its handler with a note of alarm that made the hairs on the back of Officer Jenna Morales' neck stand on end. It was supposed to be a routine wellness visit. Nestled at the edge of the sleepy town of Elmridge, the Hawthorne Pines nursing home had always seemed peaceful, even idyllic, warmly painted walls, bird feeders outside every window, and the low hum of televisions and soft-spoken aides. But the recent anonymous tip about strange smells and muffled noises in the West Wing had prompted a deeper check. Just precaution, they thought. But everything changed when Diesel, a retired military German shepherd now serving as a search and rescue dog, stopped dead in the hallway outside room 108. He barked once, then again, pawing at the wall. Not the door, the wall. Jenna had seen him track earthquake victims through mountains of rubble and sniff out narcotics hidden in places even smugglers hadn't thought of. He was never wrong. And this time, his entire body was rigid, tail stiff, eyes locked on the peeling wallpaper. The maintenance team was called. Within the hour, the panel was off. Behind it, a sealed door. No handle, just rusted hinges and silence. They pried it open. What lay beyond it hadn't been touched in over a decade. Dust danced in the flashlight beams. An old cot, a wheelchair, and a faded photograph of a young woman and a little girl, stuck to the wall with yellowing tape. Jenna felt a chill that wasn't from the cold air trapped in the room. Diesel whined low, his head hung slightly, sensing something deeper, something human. They had just opened a time capsule. Or a grave. The investigation unfolded rapidly. Behind the false wall was a room no one had mentioned, not even the current staff. But Hawthorne Pines had changed hands 3 times in 15 years. Records were sloppy. Staff came and went. Jenna, driven by more than duty, dug deeper. Her own father had spent the last 2 years of his life in a facility like this, forgotten in corners while the world moved on. She knew the quiet tragedies that happened behind closed doors in the name of elder care. The room had signs of long-term occupation, a diary under the mattress, medical supplies in outdated packaging, an old radio with a cracked speaker. The diary belonged to a woman named Margaret Delaney. It revealed a harrowing truth. Margaret had once been a vibrant nurse at the facility, well loved by the patients. Until her mind began to slip, early onset Alzheimer's. Her decline was rapid and erratic. In 2011, she vanished. Reportedly transferred to a specialized care center after a sudden episode. But that wasn't the truth. According to the diary, someone had locked her away. A decision, inhumane and cowardly, made by the former director, a man named Charles Ashford, now long retired and unreachable. He had hidden her away when her condition began causing disruptions, afraid that her erratic behavior would damage the home's reputation. Instead of transferring her, he had a maintenance team build a false wall and kept her confined. It was monstrous, but Margaret didn't die in despair. Her diary, filled with childlike writing and confusion, also held moments of clarity, of hope. "The dog with the bell came today," she wrote once. "He is not real, I think. But he brought me a dream of Emily." She was laughing. Emily was her daughter, who had died in a car crash 5 years before Margaret's illness took hold. Despite the unspeakable conditions, she had clung to fragments of love. The fallout was swift and intense. Media swarmed. The state health department launched a full investigation. Families of current residents pulled their loved ones from the home. But in the chaos, something beautiful happened. Margaret's story, tragic as it was, sparked outrage that turned into action. Local legislators pushed new bills mandating stricter transparency in elder care facilities. Volunteers flooded to neighboring homes. Anonymous donations poured in to revamp outdated nursing centers. And more than anything, people began visiting their grandparents again. Jenna couldn't let Margaret's memory end there. With permission from the state, she and a group of volunteers organized a memorial garden outside the newly renamed Margaret's Haven, the site of the former Hawthorne Pines. In the center stood a stone with an inscription taken from Margaret's own diary. "Even in the dark, love finds a way to bloom." Diesel, now gray around the muzzle, sat beside Jenna during the dedication. He had found more than a hidden room. He had uncovered a buried truth, given voice to someone long silenced, and reminded an entire town that dignity doesn't end with age. The story of Diesel and Margaret echoed far beyond Elmridge. News outlets picked it up. A documentary was made. Schools used it to teach compassion. Nursing homes began incorporating animal-assisted therapy into regular care, citing how Diesel had helped solve a mystery no human could. In the end, what began with a bark ended with a movement. And Margaret Delaney, once locked away and forgotten, became the face of change, proof that even the smallest life, even the quietest voice, deserves to be heard.